Hello, everyone. Today is International Day of the Girl. It's a UN designated day where we honor the role and think about the role of girls in terms of building strong women leaders all around the world, making sure that girls have their rights, their opportunities, so that they develop into strong and equal women. We know that over the past year, so many rights and opportunities have been lost. And certainly that is true when we look to Afghanistan. I'm so thrilled to be joined by two women who have been advocates for women's rights, for girls' rights over the course of their careers. Marjan Muhammadi, she worked at Rashan Telecom Company as an enterprise manager. She's also worked with UN Women, really in the area of developing out women entrepreneurs and in the telecom sector. Welcome, Marjan.
Thank you.
Also joining us, Hariya Sardarzada. She is Director General of, or she was Director General of the Early Childhood Development Kindergartens at the Ministry of Labor and Social Affairs. And she has been a long advocate for women and girls, working with the United Nations, with the World Bank. So welcome to both of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Alyse.
So obviously, so much has changed for both of you over the last 2 months. I would love for maybe, Marjan, you can start by telling us a little bit about what life was like before August 15th of 2021, when the Taliban moved in and took over Kabul.
Yes, before, as you know, I lived in Kabul lonely, and I worked at Roshan Telecom Company. But after collapse of Kabul, we were not allowed to go to the company because all women have to lift office. So I was alone at home. I started to cover my windows with blankets, and I didn't cook at home because most of our neighbors was religious, and they knew about me that I am a lone Hazara girl and I have no mahram at home. I live lonely, and I were afraid. There are a lot of interesting subjects for Taliban in my home, so I covered my windows. I didn't cook at home. I tried to didn't go out, and I stay at home lonely for about 1 month. And I tried to survive with all materials at my home. Sometimes I didn't have bread, but I couldn't provide it for myself because I was alone. So I supposed to disappear because our neighbors was religious, and they knew that I am employee, I am alone, I am Hazara. So I started to destroy my documents. I couldn't burn them because my apartment may make some smells. So I put them in water for 1 day, and I started to wash them one by one because I had to disappear all my documents. I had a sitar, and music in the instrument. So I hide it. I hide my mountain climbing tools because Taliban is not comfortable with that. So I hide all. I clean my picture from my phone because I have heard from my friends that they will come to homes one by one. They will check your phone because you are a manager in a high-tech telecom company, and they will find everything, all your documents. So for 1 month, I lived in hell.
Yeah. And before that, obviously, you lived a very different life.
Yes.
I mean, for the last 20 years, obviously, the Taliban was kept at bay, and those were certainly your formative years. I know you're still in your 20s now, so obviously this was quite a shift. You grew up, you're well educated, as you mentioned, single working woman, and very successful, and had been a real voice for other women entrepreneurs. So this was obviously a huge shift for you.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Before that time, I wear my clothes as I want. I wear to the office every day without no issue, and absolutely, Afghan people are a little religious, and sometimes there are some issues with lone girls in Afghanistan. That was okay. I comfortable with them, but after Taliban collapsed my life, everything has been changed, and that was like a prison for all of us, I think.
Hooria, talk a little bit about the work that you did and your life, really pushing for childhood education, early childhood education in Afghanistan.
Thank you, Alyse. Thank you for having us and giving us this opportunity to share our experience. And also sometimes this experience comes with emotions. So first of all, I would like to take this opportunity and raise again my voice for the girls' right and for the importance of the girls being as women leaders and their important role for the societies and in general for the world, a peaceful world, a more world for a better life. And I happy the Girls' Day. Regarding your question, before the Taliban, we had a normal life. Well, I did all my studies, my higher education, all my activities inside Afghanistan. I was in different positions, like I was working with World Bank as Deputy Program Director for Women's Economic Empowerment National Priority Program. I was also with Presidential Office, working with UN, United Nations as the gender expert, because I have done my master's in gender and women's studies. Also, lately, the time that the Taliban took the Kabul, I was the general director for early childhood development, kindergartens at the Ministry of Labor and Social Affairs. So the life was quite normal. We were going to our offices, we were participating in different meetings, programs, advocacy sessions. We had a normal life with our family. We were keeping that Afghan culture, the thing that were the values for us, and we were living so calmly. Everything was fine. But then the chaotic situation started. We heard about the Herat. Okay, the Herat is under the control of Taliban. And then the Mazar was the second big city of Afghanistan that it also fell under the Taliban control. And for the Kabul, still we had noises that maybe Taliban is really close to Kabul. But as government official, I was like asking from different groups. They were saying, no, Kabul won't fall under their control. There will be some negotiations. There will be some setups. The Kabul won't fall because it's the capital city. It's our city, and all advocates, all government officials, the parliament members, senators, everyone is here. The president is here himself. So the Kabul won't fall. I remember the Saturday I went to office, I had my meetings, everything. And on Sunday, I was not even leaving my house for the office, that my driver called me and said, okay, ma'am, would you like to go to office? I said, yes, of course, I would like to. He said, no, but the situation is not normal. You don't have to come out. I said, what happened? He said, the Kabul is surrounded by Taliban. Still you want to go to office? Nobody is there. And people are just crashing on the airport. I said, because his home was close to airport. He said, I said, how did you know that? He said, I'm standing just in front of the airport and I'm seeing it.
Wow.
Do you have any update to share with me? I said, no, I have nothing. He said, but you are in different groups. Maybe president or the ministers have told you something to just be aware. I said, nothing is shared. And then I think after 1 hour, the Taliban announced that they are in the presidential palace. I think it was 30 minutes or 50 minutes later, the Karzai and the Dr. Abdullah, they both announced that the President Ghani has left the presidential palace, and right now country is under the control of the Taliban. So for me, I was thinking that it's a dream, it's not reality. I was not accepting it. My mom, my father, everybody was coming and were saying, be calm, everything will be fine, don't worry, we will get away. We will go to Pakistan first. Don't worry, they won't come for you. I said, no, I'm not accepting this thing that the Kabul is under the control of Taliban. So it was for us as a generation that we started everything. I was in school in 6th grade when the US troops entered the Kabul. So for us that we have just made a good life for ourselves. We studied, we worked, and we came to the positions. I was close to be a deputy minister because my position, it's in ranking in Afghanistan, it's like president, minister, deputy minister, and then the general director. I was in that position. I already worked for 2 years, so I was nearly in promotion for being as deputy minister for Ministry of Labor and Social Affairs. So this was all set up that we have really worked for it. And then in 1 second, it just becomes zero. And still, I was discussing with my mom the 2 days after the Taliban entered the Kabul. I would say that, Mom, if the Taliban said that they have changed, if they let us to go to office, we work, I don't have problem wearing like burqa, because already I have my scarf on. This is something that this is part of our culture. I don't mind wearing those burqas even, although that's not our culture, but if they are sensitive about it. But I'm waiting if they let us go to work and let us live peacefully. But then some stuff happened. They just started checking up on the officials' houses. They also had like checkups on our house. They took even the vehicle, calling it the government property, and just telling us to stay at home. Women are not allowed to be in higher positions. So we will let you know later on what to do. So I just, from that moment, I just stayed at home, as Marjan said, it was fully locked until we just started moving to be in Albania.
So talk a little bit about the decision-making process. Marjan, how did you decide, okay, I have to leave my home. It's just too dangerous for me now. At what point did you really recognize that?
Actually, I applied for many organizations, and I applied email as much as I can, because there is no hope for me in Afghanistan. I knew that, because if we cannot work in Afghanistan, I studied software engineering, and I worked more than 7 years in telecom and software developing. So most of them will be zero if they don't allow me to go work, to go to the office. So there is no future for me. So I started to apply and send email to who I know that. The border was full of Taliban, and they checked us very much, and that was awful. We were scared, all of them, and sometimes we surrounded by Taliban, and they asked us, where are you going, where are you going, and what, who are you? They checked us one by one, and our name, our background. And after that, when we passed the border, I feel freedom. I breathe deeply. I was finished.
Wow. And Hariya, what about you? How did you make the decision that it was just not safe enough for you to stay in your home country, where you had, built such an incredible life, as you say, about to become a deputy minister, and you're in your early 30s, which it's incredibly impressive. So how did you decide, okay, I'm going to have to leave, and in so many ways start over, at least for a period of time, before I know both of you will go back eventually? At least that would certainly be my hope, because of course Afghanistan needs you for the future.
Exactly. For me, one of the difficult decisions that I have ever made in my life was this, because I had a settled life. I had everything back there, and to decide even to just leave my country without even knowing where I am going and where I will be laid. So That was really difficult for me. But the moment they started checking up on houses, they had like that list. I don't know from where they got that list. They had like a database of the officials with them, with the details. When they done that checkup, I was done with the checkup and I was sitting just in the corner of the room when I saw the face of my father, my brother, my sisters, and my mother. Then I got that, okay, now it's not about you. It's about them as well. Because what happened that during my official working experience, many times I faced such situation because I had travels like in provinces, many times I faced them. But it was an experience for me. I was already having in my mind, okay, they will just take the country and then we will be easily just go to our work, and the life will be the life will be different, but as they mentioned, we have changed, so there will be something to do. But when I saw that there's no chance, and they clearly told me, they were laughing on me that when I said that I was working in a first ranking position in a country, they said a woman can't work in that position. I said, but this organization is a fully women organization. Like, we are providing ECD services, and we are providing it through teachers, ECD teachers, and all of them are women, because we don't give like children according to our cultural norms to men. So I'm leading an organization which is fully employed, like the women are there. Then how you would hire a man in that position? They said, we will decide about that later, but a woman can be in that position. When I started discussing about that, my father just hold my shoulder and told me to stop. Don't discuss with them. Yeah, and just accept whatever they said. And then they said, okay, stay at home, and then we will let you know about that. So that was the moment that I thought, okay, Hooria, you need to think about it. And it's about your security and also about your family, your parents, your siblings. So then I contacted the different organization. I think it was the third day of falling Kabul under their control, that I started emailing, I started phoning, sending the messages, texts, and everything, that which organization are there to just help the evacuation of the women leaders, women officials. The worst experience was that 1.5 months that we were there, that we were sending emails, texts, and they were just replying, okay, you are in our list. Okay, we are just received your details. But they were saying nothing. There's no hope. There's no guarantee that we will evacuate you, something. Just wait for our call. So that was the most worst scenario, that you have a decision which is just based on the bad situation. But then I had no other choice. I had to just take myself and my family in a safe and in a better place. And then they closed the borders, each place that we were not even, personally, we were not even walking through those borders. So we had to take someone or some organization from outside to just help us getting out from those borders. So I think it was the third day that I decided that there's no life under their control. They clearly told me, you're not allowed to go. In the second day, they took my official vehicle from my driver and telling him to just go home. And he called me and said, they took your car. I said, that's okay. That was the government car. They can take it. And then when they had checkup, they took my father's car vehicle. I said, but that's my father's vehicle. They said, but you got it from government money. I said, I was just only taking salary. That was the salary that they were paying for the job that I was providing them. They said, no, it's the money that you people were collecting from the government. So the government was so corrupted. That's why you people were corrupt. And we are here to just collect this money and this stuff. And they took our personal vehicle, the vehicle of my father. So I think that was the moment that I decided, okay, there's no life, no hope, nothing, not for me, not for my brother, not for my sister, not for my parents. So I decided, and I started just sending emails to just get out of the country.
Mm. You are now in Albania. Both of you have been welcomed, certainly by the government of Albania, by the Voices, Georgetown Institute of Women, Peace and Security, and a whole coalition of Afghan women, American women who very much believe in you and want to support you. How has your stay been? I know, Hariya, you've only been there, I think, about a week now, yes?
Yes, yes, it's been a week.
And how has your
And
stay been?
I think it's a wonderful experience if you compare it to the situation that we were in and we left our country and we came here. The people are really hospitable. The organizing group that organized all these evacuation and brought us here, they are wonderful people. I found most of them humanists. That's why it's really appreciating you, your team, and all the efforts that they are providing and bringing us here. It's such a nice place. The first thing that I noticed was they didn't took us to a military camp. They didn't took us under like big places where many families can be stayed together. There are no services, nothing. So those points are the main points that first we notice. And day by day, we are seeing that how the services are provided, how our needs are being collected, and we are just receiving those needs, and still they are promising for upcoming and different programs. So it's really appreciated. And of course, that first feeling of being safe, being alive, there's nobody to come and look for you. That's the most important thing to have. And then when it comes to Albanian people, Albanian government, and your team and the organizing team, the ones that are here helping us. So this is such wonderful. I don't have even words to just express my gratitude and express my sincere feeling, but I'm sure that you can reading it from my face. We are really appreciating that, and would love to be just part of the activities that you are providing. And as I have a volunteer background and volunteer activism, so I would love to be part of these programs, because I think we are here. We need to work with you together to get ourselves something better in a better position. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And what about you, Marjan?
Actually, I have been here for about 2 weeks, I think. Yes, 2 weeks. And that was wonderful in Albania. As Hooria mentioned, Albanian people are very friendly. And actually, we are not happy because we escaped from our country, and we cannot really enjoy from the sea and beautiful beach because we are still worried about all people in Afghanistan. But here we are safe, we are comfortable, and I want to appreciate from you and your team and all people who help us help our people. And actually, I want to.
And I want to say something to you about that. So, I've heard, and I can imagine you almost there may be some guilt, right? Because you're out, others are still there.
Yes.
And I think what I would say is that from our perspective, we know not every woman and girl will be able to make their way out of Afghanistan, certainly. But we know that those who do are certainly the leaders who will carry their voice and their concerns. And I think for us, that was really what was most important, that there are women leaders outside of Afghanistan who are safe and their families are safe, who can speak to those who are still, under Taliban rule.
Actually, I want to say our educated women are women who worked before Taliban in Afghanistan, are as a doctor, as a teacher, as an engineer, and all women who were employees somewhere. All of them are activists because they were trying to create an educated next generation. They were trying to create better future for Afghanistan. So all of them are actually, women activists is not a label for someone who just works with some NGOs or some. All mothers, all women in Afghanistan are activists because they were trying to create a best generation for Afghanistan, but now
yeah,
they stopped.
Yes, also I wanted to add, as the point that you mentioned is the important point, that the ones like us that got this opportunity, and we are fortunate for that to be in this position, and what's our responsibility to do. So I think it's our responsibility to raise our voice and to speak on behalf of those people, the ones that they are still stuck there, the ones that they are still, you are following them on social media, they are just walking out, they get beaten, they get sometimes just locked in their houses, they didn't let them even to raise their voice. So we are here, and we will see that how the environment will let us to start advocating for them to speak on their behalf, and how can we be in solidarity with them, because just it's a matter of time. It was, I think it was 2 weeks ago, not the last week but the other week, that I was in the same position. I was having the same fears, I was having the same situation. So yeah, by time we need to just have a different sort of activities here to just see how we can be in position to help them, and or just to raise our voice for them, to advocate for them, and to raise their situation. I think the all organization, if they get together, if the all countries get together, they cannot take all the population of Afghanistan out of Afghanistan. So that's impossible. That's why we need to make some pressures on government and on whatever they made right now in Afghanistan, to somehow give some sort of freedoms for them, and at least consider them as human beings, and let them to study, let them to work and rest. Although they are promising some stuff, but let's see and wait what they will do.
Hmm. And if I could ask, today, of course, International Day of the Girl, what is your wish for the future of girls and women in Afghanistan? What do you wish? What do you hope? Marjan, should we start with you?
Actually, I had a dream to establish my company in Afghanistan in high tech, but now I cannot. I wish all women in Afghanistan catch their dreams, their freedom, and as they were in the past. And I hope you and other people who can don't stop talking and thinking and helping Afghanistan, especially women in Afghanistan. And in the future, I hope I can back to my country and establish my company, or work with other women and work in I don't know.
I do
Making
believe
you
that
getting
is going to
emotional.
happen. It will. It will.
Yes, yes, it will.
It will. And I
So
think, if I could say, we won't abandon you, or the women of Afghanistan. We won't abandon you. And
yeah,
anything we can do to help. We know the power of Afghan women. It's very strong, and
yeah.
I'm here to support you, because our goal is that you are
Sorry.
back. No, of course.
I think it's normal. Most of the time, I find around, like, we are like in a team that we are living together, and then I found them crying. When I ask them, they say we just miss our country. We miss the time that we had. We miss our positions. Each of one of you, that when you ask, they were director, they were managers, they were like deputy managers, they were like deputy ministers. So yeah, they're just missing that environment, that whatever they have done right now, it's like zero. That's why.
And
So
we tried a lot for these
yeah.
positions, these experiences in Afghanistan. We tried a lot, and in one night, they get zero.
But at least we are happy that we are fortunate that we are in position to just restart our dreaming and just rebuild our world again. And same time, my wish would be in a day for Afghan women, Afghan girls, to not be discriminated from any type of group. If you just go through the history of Afghanistan, you would see any group that they came, the first thing they had were the different type of treatment for women. If it's Taliban, if it's Mujahideen, any group, they would have different type of treatment. I'm wishing for a day the Afghan girl didn't get that a different type of treat only just because it's a girl.
Right.
So I'm just wishing that day. And I wish I would be alive to see such day, to see them that they are not discriminated, they have their rights, they are living freely, and they're enjoying. Yeah, wishing for such day.
Well, thank you both for your leadership, for your strength, for your courage. I'm certainly glad you're safe, but I know that there is a long road ahead, and the future is not exactly certain, but I think there is something certain, and that is that we are with you, and we are there to support you. So thank you so much for joining us, for lending your voice and telling us a bit about your story.
Well, it was actually a pleasure to talking with you and hearing from you. It gave us more strength, it gave us more energy and more hope. Yeah, thank you for everything. Thank you
for your time. Thank you.
Absolutely.